I don't owe you anything physically. My name is Colton. I'm 45 years old. I work in procurement for Velmar Automation, a manufacturing company based in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been married to Vanessa for 7 years. When she said those words to me, her voice didn't rise. She didn't pause. She spoke as if she were reciting a grocery list. We were standing in the kitchen. I had simply reached for her hand, just her hand. She pulled away and gave me that look, the one that meant I had crossed some unseen boundary I never even knew existed. Then she said it. Cold. Final. I didn't argue. I didn't challenge her. I just stood there while she walked out of the room like nothing had happened. That was 3 weeks ago. I keep replaying it in my mind. Not the words themselves, but the way she delivered them. Like I was asking for something unreasonable, as if touching my own wife was some kind of weight she shouldn't have to carry. It wasn't always this way. When we were dating, Vanessa was warm. She was affectionate. She laughed at my jokes. She leaned into me when we sat together. She made me feel like I mattered. But after we got married, something slowly shifted. First, she stopped reaching for me. Then she stopped kissing me goodnight. Stopped looking at me the way she used to. I told myself it was stress, work, life. Everyone hits rough patches. I gave her space. I gave her time. I kept waiting for things to feel normal again. They didn't. Instead, the distance only grew. She moved into the guest room. She stopped responding when I asked about her day. She treated me like an obligation instead of a partner. Yet she still expected me to show up, pay the bills, fix what broke, be there whenever she needed something. And I did all of it without complaining. I thought that was what marriage meant. You support each other. You push through the difficult parts. You don't keep score. But that night in the kitchen, I finally understood something. She was keeping score. And in her version of things, I was always the one who owed. I didn't say anything to her after that moment. I just went to bed. But I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about how long it had been since she touched me, since she smiled at me, since she acted like she even wanted me around. I didn't know what I was going to do yet, but I knew I couldn't keep living like this. Something had to change. I met Vanessa at a trade conference in Dallas. She worked in event planning. I was there representing my company. She walked up to me during a breakout session and spoke like we'd known each other for years. She was confident, sharp, beautiful. We stayed in touch afterwards. Emails turned into phone calls. Phone calls turned into weekend trips. 6 months later, I asked her to marry me. She said yes immediately. The wedding was small, family and a few close friends. Vanessa wanted something simple. I didn't care about the specifics. I just wanted her. The first year of marriage was good. We bought a house together, a 3-bedroom place in a quiet neighborhood. Vanessa quit her job to focus on freelance work. She said she needed more flexibility. I supported her. I always supported her. But sometime around year 2, things began to change. She stopped asking how my day was. Stopped making the meals we used to cook together. Stopped planning date nights. I told myself she was adjusting, finding her rhythm. By year 3, the guest room became her permanent bedroom. She said she needed better sleep, that I snored too loudly. I offered to see a doctor. She said it wasn't worth it. She was comfortable where she was. I tried bringing it up gently a few times. I didn't want to start a fight. I just wanted to understand what was happening. She always had an explanation ready. Tired, stressed, not in the mood. Eventually, I stopped asking. It felt like begging. Yet she never stopped expecting things from me. She still handed me her car when it needed servicing. Still told me to take care of the mortgage, the utilities, the repairs. Still expected me to pick up dinner when she didn't feel like cooking. Still wanted me to listen whenever she had a bad day. I did everything. I thought that was what a husband was supposed to do. Handle things, be reliable, stay steady. But then I started noticing the pattern. She took everything I offered and gave nothing back. No affection, no appreciation, no effort. I began keeping track in my mind. Not intentionally, it just happened. I noticed how often she asked me for things compared to how rarely she offered anything in return. The difference wasn't even close. And the night she told me she didn't owe me anything physically, something finally snapped into place. I realized I'd been in a game I could never win, a game where she was the only one who got to set the rules. I was done playing. The next morning, I woke up before Vanessa. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, stared at my phone. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was just exhausted. Exhausted from feeling like I didn't matter. Exhausted from giving everything and receiving nothing. Exhausted from pretending this was normal. I thought about what she said, that she didn't owe me anything physically, and I realized she was right. She didn't owe me intimacy. No one does. But I didn't owe her anything either. I didn't owe her my time, my effort, my money, or my emotional support. I had been giving all of that because I believed that's what marriage required. But she'd stopped holding up her end a long time ago. So I decided to stop holding up mine. It wasn't spite. It was practical. If she wanted to treat our marriage like a transaction, then I would treat it like one too. And transactions go both ways. I started small that day. I didn't ask how she slept. Didn't pour her coffee. Didn't check if she needed anything before I left for work. I just got ready and walked out. She didn't notice, or if she did, she didn't say a word. Over the next few days, I kept pulling back. I stopped picking up her prescriptions, stopped grabbing her favorite snacks at the store, stopped asking if she wanted to watch a movie, stopped doing the little gestures I used to do without thinking. By the end of the week, she finally noticed. "Did you forget to pick up my medication?" she asked one night. "No," I said. "I didn't forget." She stared at me. "Then why didn't you get it?" "I figured you could handle it." She frowned. "I've been busy." "So have I." She didn't say anything else, but I could see the confusion on her face, like she couldn't understand why I wasn't rushing to fix things the way I always had. I kept going. I stopped transferring money into the joint account for household expenses, stopped paying her subscriptions, stopped covering the little extras she always counted on me for. She didn't mention anything at first, but I knew it wouldn't be long before she noticed a shift. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was just finished being the only one putting in effort. If she wanted to act like we were roommates instead of spouses, then I would treat her like a roommate. And roommates split costs. It took 2 weeks before Vanessa confronted me. I was in the garage working on my truck when she came out, arms crossed, expression tight. "What's going on with you?" she asked. I didn't look up. "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean. You've been different, distant, cold." I set down the wrench and turned to her. "Cold?" "Yes, cold. You barely talk to me. You don't help with anything anymore. You're acting like I don't exist." I almost laughed. "Almost. That's funny," I said. "What's funny?" "You're upset because I'm doing the same thing you've been doing for years." Her jaw tightened. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I said. "You told me you don't owe me anything physically, so I figured I don't owe you anything either." "That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" She didn't answer. She just stared at me like I had said something beyond ridiculous. "You've been pulling away from me for years," I continued. "No affection, no intimacy, no effort. But you still expect me to show up, to pay for everything, to take care of you, to be there whenever you need something." "That's what a marriage is," she said. "No," I replied. "That's what a partnership is. And we stopped being partners a long time ago." Her face flushed. "So what? You're just going to stop caring about me." "I'm not stopping anything. I'm just matching your energy. Maybe it's childish, but at least it's honest." She shook her head. "I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe it took me this long." She turned and walked back inside. The door slammed behind her. I didn't feel good about the conversation, but I didn't feel bad either. I just felt like I had finally said something that needed to be said. Over the next few days, she tried a different tactic. She started acting nicer, asking about my day, offering to cook dinner, pretending things were normal. But it felt false, like she was trying to pull me back into my old role. I didn't buy it. I kept my distance, kept my boundaries, kept withdrawing. She didn't like that. I could see the frustration rising. She would ask me to do something and I'd say no. She'd get irritated and I'd shrug. She'd try guilt and I'd walk away. It was draining, but I was done being the only one who cared. One night, She came into the living room while I was watching TV. She sat beside me, close enough that the tension felt heavy. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" "About us. About what's happening." I turned off the TV and looked at her. "Okay, let's talk." She took a long breath. "I don't understand why you're doing this. Why you're being so cold." "I'm not being cold. I'm just not giving more than I'm getting." "But that's not how marriage works." "Then tell me how it works," I said. She didn't have an answer. The next morning, I logged into our bank accounts. I wanted to see exactly where our money was going. I had always handled the finances, but I never looked closely. I just paid the bills and moved on. But what I found made my stomach twist. Vanessa was spending more than I'd ever realized, much more. Subscriptions I'd never heard of, spa visits, shopping trips, dinners with friends. All of it coming out of the joint account. I checked the numbers twice. Over the past year, she had spent nearly $40,000 on things unrelated to our home, things that only benefited her. Meanwhile, I was covering everything else: mortgage, utilities, car payments, insurance, groceries. All the essentials. She contributed nothing. Her freelance income was inconsistent. Some months she made a little, some months nothing. But she never adjusted her spending. She just kept draining the account like it would never run out. I stared at the screen for a long time. I wasn't angry, just tired. Tired of being used. Tired of being taken for granted. That afternoon, I opened a new bank account, a personal one, only in my name. I transferred my paycheck into it and stopped depositing money into the joint account. I also canceled the credit card she used for her personal expenses, the one linked to my account, the one I'd been paying off without question for years. I didn't tell her. I just went ahead and did it. 2 days later, she burst into the house while I was making dinner. "What did you do?" she demanded. "What are you talking about?" "My card. It's not working." "Oh," I said, "I canceled it." Her eyes went wide. "You what?" "I canceled it. You were spending too much." "You can't just cancel my card without telling me." "It's my card, my account. I can do whatever I want with it." "We're married," she snapped. "That money is ours." "No," I said. "That money is mine. I earned it. You've been spending it like it's yours. But it's not. You're being ridiculous." "Am I?" "Because I checked the numbers. You spent $40,000 last year on things that had nothing to do with our household. 40,000. She didn't respond. "You want to act like we're not partners." I continued. "Fine. Then we're not sharing finances either. From now on, you cover your own expenses. I'll take care of the house, the bills, the basics. But everything else, that's on you." "You can't do that." "I just did." She stood there, face flushed, then turned and walked away. I went back to making dinner. I didn't feel guilty. I felt clear. Over the next few days, she tried accessing the joint account, but I had already moved almost everything. I left just enough to cover the monthly bills, nothing beyond that. She called me at work, sent angry messages, demanded I put the money back. I ignored her. For the first time in years, I felt like I had control of my own life, and I wasn't giving it up. Vanessa stopped talking to me after that. She walked past me without a word, ate meals alone in her room, acted like I didn't exist. I didn't care. I was done fixing things, done trying to make her happy, done giving more than I got. But I could tell she was planning something. The way she avoided looking at me, the way she stayed glued to her phone, it was obvious. So I started preparing. I copied every financial document I could find: bank statements, tax returns, credit card bills. I uploaded everything to a secure cloud account. I also began documenting everything: conversations, expenses, every time she asked for something and I said no. I kept a record of it all. I wasn't planning to divorce her. Not yet, but I wanted to be ready in case she tried to move first. One night, I came home late from work. Vanessa was sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open. She looked up as I walked in. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" "About this." She turned the laptop toward me. It was an email from a divorce attorney. I looked at the screen, then at her. You want a divorce? I think it's best. I nodded slowly. Okay. She blinked. Okay? That's all you're going to say. What do you want me to say? You've already made your decision. I just think we've grown apart. We're not happy anymore. It's better if we separate. Fine. She looked thrown off, like she expected me to beg or fight for the marriage. I did none of that. I'll call my own attorney, I said. We'll sort out the details. She nodded, but the uncertainty in her eyes said she hadn't expected me to agree so easily. The next day, I contacted a lawyer, a good one, someone experienced with divorce cases. I explained everything, showed him the financial records, told him the whole situation. He looked through the numbers and nodded. This is pretty straightforward, he said. She contributed almost nothing financially, and you've documented all her spending. The house is in your name. You're in a strong position. What does that mean? It means you'll walk away with most of your assets. She will get very little, especially if she's the one filing for divorce. I felt a small sense of relief, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I knew I wouldn't be taken advantage of anymore. The lawyer drew up a response to her filing. He outlined what I was willing to offer. It was fair, but not generous. Vanessa would get nothing from my retirement account, nothing from the house. She would have to cover her own legal fees and find her own place within 60 days. When she received the paperwork, she called immediately. This is insane, she said. You're trying to leave me with nothing. No, I said. I'm leaving you with exactly what you contributed, which is nothing. You can't do this. Yes, I can. And She hung up. The divorce took 4 months to finalize. Vanessa tried to fight it. She hired her own lawyer, claimed she deserved half of everything, said she had sacrificed her career for our marriage. But the records didn't lie. She had no proof of contribution, no proof of sacrifice, just years of spending money she hadn't owned. The judge sided with me. Vanessa got nothing from the house, nothing from my retirement, nothing from my savings. She walked away with her personal belongings and whatever was in her own account, which wasn't much. I wasn't in the courtroom when the final ruling came down. My lawyer called afterward. It's done, he said. You're officially divorced. I hung up and sat in my truck for a while. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I just felt free. Vanessa moved out 2 weeks later. She didn't say goodbye. She just packed and left while I was at work. I came home to an empty guest room, a few boxes in the garage, and silence. I walked through the house. It felt bigger somehow, lighter. I didn't miss her. I missed the idea of what I thought we had, but I didn't miss the reality. A few months later, I ran into one of her friends at a coffee shop. She told me Vanessa was struggling, living in a small apartment, working 2 part-time jobs, barely making ends meet. I didn't feel sorry for her. I just felt like things had finally balanced out. Life moved forward after the divorce. I kept my job, kept my house, kept my routine. I started spending more time on myself. Went to the gym, took a weekend trip to Colorado, reconnected with old friends I'd lost touch with over the years. I wasn't looking for another relationship. I wasn't interested in dating. I just wanted to figure out who I was outside of a marriage that had drained me. One afternoon, I was working in the garage when my neighbor stopped by. His name was Vincent. He was retired and spent most of his time working on classic cars. Heard you got divorced, he said. I nodded. Yeah, a few months ago. How are you holding up? Better than I expected. He smiled. Good. You deserve better than what you had. I didn't say anything, but I appreciated the sentiment. Vincent and I started spending more time together after that, working on projects, talking about life. He didn't pry, didn't ask too many questions. He just listened when I needed to talk, and left me alone when I didn't. It was a kind of friendship I had been missing for years. One day he asked if I regretted the divorce. I thought for a moment, then shook my head. No, I regret staying as long as I did. He nodded. Fair enough. I realized something in that moment. I had spent years giving everything to someone who gave nothing in return. I had lost myself trying to make her happy, trying to fix something that was never going to work. But I was done with that. Done losing myself for someone else. I was finally living for me. And that felt right.